This is the Sprint 2 final presentation for the Pushpin LLC project for CEN 3031. Go ahead, Ryan. So, excuse me. For our project, we took a look at the challenge statement number 3, which had us develop teacher and student resources for remote learning. So we took the original concept of a very crowded and messy bulletin board and adapted it to the modern age in a very clean and responsive environment in the form of Pushpin. So students can log in into their own accounts and they can see boards created by professors or club organizers or the like, and see the post there and get their information very quick and very easily without having to go through a very messy bulletin board. You can go ahead and go on next. Mariano?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, so as John mentioned, our target audience are students, professors, and club organizers. So it's basically anyone who is interested in events or information that is posted on the boards.
All right, so we're gonna switch into a live demo of our product. Yeah, so it's a web app called Pushpin, and immediately when you come to the site, you're prompted to log in. So in this case, I'm gonna log in with a professor account, or like an account that would be sort of mocked to use by a professor. So you sign in with Google OAuth, and you're brought to your dashboard. And in this case, this professor has a differential equations board and a calculus 2 board. And if you click on the board, it'll take you to a page that'll display like all the posts on the board, and it'll give you some buttons that let you interact with the board if you own it. So like there's stuff about exams, there's stuff about homeworks, there's stuff about like maybe like an alert to students, stuff that they should do. And you can go back to your dashboard by hitting the home button. So I'm just going to run you through a quick board creation. You can just click the new board button. A modal will pop up and you can give it a name. So we'll just call it like new board. And you can click the create button and it'll give you a new page, and it creates this board in our Firebase database. In this case, we're using Firestore. And then since you're logged in as like the owner of the board, you can click on new post and just create a new post, and then give it some description, something like that. Great. You can delete posts as well, and you can also delete boards. And yeah, and then when you're done, you can just sign out of your account. There's still like a few more features to sort of show. In this case, I'm going to log in as a student who maybe takes some classes that Professor Brian Mann teaches. So again, this student has some other boards that they can click on, but if they want to search stuff, they can come up to the search bar at the top and just search. You can either search by like board owner name or like the name of the board. So in this case, we have like a professor named Brian. So we can look up Brian Mann or just look up Brian. And then we'll be given all the boards whose owners are named Brian or whose names like contain Brian. So in this case, I'm a student of Brian, and maybe I take his differential equations class. I can click on his differential equations board and review like, oh, I have an exam here, or I have an exam and this is what it covers, or like I should review this. And since I don't own this board, it doesn't display any of like the edit buttons. Yeah, that's sort of how we prevent users from editing other users' boards. You can also search by like board name. So let's say I'm a student and I'm curious like what's going on at like certain libraries. I can search up the word like library, and then it'll give me all the boards that have names containing library. So let's say, oh, I want to go to Marston Library today. Let's see what's going on. They have like some events listed here. Maybe some clubs meeting here. I can go back. Maybe I want to go to like Newell. Oh, look, they're hiring here. 24/7. They're adding tables, I guess. And yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff you can do with Pushpin. And I'm really excited to see what we can do with this product in the future. So that concludes the live demo. I think I just hit the wrong button. And right. So whoever's covering this.
Yeah, and so we go to the technical debt and the stretch goals. As you can see in the debt, we have naive, unavoidable, and strategic. When it comes to naive, we were, at least I know for myself, I was inexperienced with the platform, so most of my time was spent learning it. I know most of us weren't experts at Firebase or React. We could have been experts in one, but not all of them. Unavoidable, we are college students, so our schedules were a little conflicting. Sometimes it was hard to get meetings or find time to work on it. And then for strategic, sometimes for our sprints, we did have to lower our standards just to make time for it. And then for our goals, these were goals that were on our sprints, but we pushed them back because they weren't necessarily needed. So these three are hopefully going to be implemented in the future. We have public boards, post expiration, and email notifications. So yeah. Sorry, next slide.
So for the individual reports, for me personally, my responsibilities, I was part of the front end team alongside Michael. I started to work on the GUI as well as making sure the website appeared clean and responsive. And as the product manager, I also made sure that we met at consistent times and made sure to meet our deadlines. And a bit on the side, outside of the code base, I also made sure to develop the slides and some of the diagrams as well. As for the code contributions and outside, I added some animations to make it look a bit more responsive, as well as some of the nav bar properties using HTML and CSS. And I also created the slides that you're currently seeing and the product-sprint backlog diagrams. Overall, it was a really amazing experience and the first time that I really had the opportunity to kind of take a more active position in a programming project. I enjoyed being able to work with my teammates to reach our goals and develop a really nice looking project. And as for what I learned the responsibilities of a project manager, how to organize team members and goals, set realistic expectations, and as well as more development specific stuff such as GitHub, Circle CI, and the daily Scrum. Mariano, I believe you're next.
Sure, I can go next. So as for my individual report, at first I helped decide on the technology we're gonna use. I think I suggested Firebase. On the coding side, I'm not very familiar with the technology we use, React and JavaScript. So it was a little bit hard. I had to learn about it. So I worked on the delete post button. I added the warnings before deleting a board or a post. I kind of like started the footer, but my teammates improved it a lot. And I also reviewed and approved a lot of PRs. So overall, I think it's the first group project in college I've had like a factual programming. And it's been great. I learned a lot, and now I'm definitely gonna learn more about React and JavaScript based on this project. So I think
I can go next. So I guess for this project, I was mostly responsible for the user authentication, the board and post creation, and the search feature. And yeah, it was really fun to sort of work on the project and work in a team. I definitely learned a lot about like working together with other people, and like using Git like in a team setting, I guess, sort of like, you know, creating branches and merging pull requests that people send and reviewing stuff that they send. And this was like the first time I worked with Firebase, and I thought it was amazing, and I'm definitely going to use it in the future. So yeah, I was just really grateful to work on this project, and I thought my team was super cool and everybody was really good.
Yeah, so I'm last. My responsibilities were really on the GUI with John. I started a lot of ideas. I never really finished them. John and Ryan and Mariano really improved on a lot of them. I added the text area for posts to add to, if you want to type a little more, you can be able to. But yeah, it was a really fun project. This was my first real big software project and actually making a final product. So it was really fun working with a team, working with Git, and just working through the whole process with scrums and everything. Yeah, and I guess what I learned was a little bit of CSS, and I learned I'm not that good with CSS, so I hope to learn that in the future, and I learned a lot with Git. And with that being said, I think that is our push sprint review. I hope you enjoy.